Access denied. Accepted.
Can you see it? Can you see? The labeling may not be able to seen from a distance, but the diagram, I believe, you can see it. All right. As we move across the ascending ladder of the vertebral development, we see up to the level of fishes. There is one atrial chamber and there is one ventricular chamber, and the feces has the development of gills through which they take the oxygen and gives out the carbon dioxide, and the blood from the gills enters into the atrial chamber. Then this blood again enters the ventricular chamber. So in fishes, the development is easy. That is one atrium without distinction and one ventricle. All right. In case of the amphibia, what we see, the ventricular chamber is not separated, but at the atrial chamber, there are two atrial chambers, right and left. Till as the ventricular chamber is not separated, there will be admixture of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, isn't it? But the most important development that we see in mammals, that is like in human being, what we see that the two dorsal aortae fuse together in the midline. The two dorsal aortae fuse together in the midline. The first figure with red marker is the two dorsal aortae that is fused in the ventral plane. All right. giving rise to successively 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 structures. You see, first one is the aortic sac. First one is the aortic sac. Then is the truncus arteriosus. Right? Then comes the primitive ventricle. That is undistinguished, unseparated. Then comes the atria, initially unseparated, but the ventricle as well as the atria will develop septum in the latter part of the development. And the last part, what we see in the blue marker, that is the sinus venosus. That is the sinus venosus. This sinus venosus at first of equal dimension both on the right and left. Alright. Later the left part, you see I have drawn with a dotted line. Left part will be squeezed, giving rise to the oblique vein of the left ventricle, left atria, and the ligament of Marshall's ligament, that is the ligament of left atria, vein of left atria. Now you can see there are posterior cardinal veins and the anterior cardinal veins. From the whole of the body, the veins merge to the posterior cardinal vein and the anterior cardinal vein. There are the two veins that joins with the sinus venosus, and the common part is known as duct of Cuvier. The common part is known as the duct of Cuvier. This is sinus venosus. This is anterior cardinal vein coming from the upper part of the body and the superior extremity. This is the posterior cardinal vein that is draining blood from the inferior extremity and below the thorax, part below the thorax. They join with the sinus venosus through a common duct which is known as the duct of Cuvier. Now you see, these are the vitelline veins. These are the vitelline veins, and these two are the umbilical veins. You mentioned this thing, all right? These two are vitelline veins. These are communication between the vitelline veins, and these are the umbilical vein. Right? This part is the narrowed down part is the ligament of Marshall, and this narrowed down part is known as oblique vein of left atrium. All right. Now you see, there is a communication. There is an oblique communication between the right anterior cardinal vein and the left anterior cardinal vein. Together with, they form the right and left brachiocephalic vein. Together with, after this oblique anastomosis, they form, this one is the right brachiocephalic vein and this one is the left brachiocephalic vein. Right? And the lower part of it is the part in two segments, that is the superior vena cava. The part in the duct of Cuvier is the intrapericardial part, and beyond that is the extrapericardial part. This one is the intrapericardial part of superior vena cava, the upper part. Sorry. Interpericardial part of SVC, superior vena cava. And this part is the extrapericardial. This one is the extrapericardial part, this is the intrapericardial part of SVC. So we are seeing that SVC has two parts. One part that has developed from the posterior part of the right anterior cardinal vein and the part within the duct of Cuvier, right duct of Cuvier. All right. So, and you see, this is the arch of azygos vein that is developed from the cephalic part of the right posterior cardinal vein. Arch of azygos vein developed from the cephalic part of the posterior cardinal vein. Arch of azygos developed from the cephalic part of right posterior cardinal vein. Right. I have drawn only this communication to make you understand that this communication between the vital and vein within the liver below subhepatic level, this communication will give rise to the development of the inferior vena cava. This communication will give rise to the development of IVC, inferior vena cava. Now here I have drawn the azygos vein. Here I have drawn the azygos vein. Azygos vein developed from the arch of azygos vein developed from the right azygos line, the vertical part, and the arch from the superior part of the right posterior cardinal vein. Right. Now you see, the arch of azygos receive the brachiocephalic vein, right and left receive the T1, first posterior intercostal nerve, posterior intercostal vein. T2 and T3 represents the second and third posterior intercostal vein. All right. These joints to form the superior intercostal vein. As I have drawn, you can remember, in front of the arch of aorta, there are four structures. Superior intercostal vein crosses this. This is the superior intercostal vein, written as T2, T3. This one is the superior intercostal vein, draining into the brachiocephalic vein. And this is crossing over four structures. That is the left phrenic, superior cervical cardiac branch of left vagus, superior cervical cardiac branch of left sympathetic, and the left vagus. This fourth, the superior intercostal vein crosses this fourth structure in front of the arch of aorta. Right? Where is the azygos vein? You need to know where is the azygos vein. Then this arch of azygos vein hooks from behind the root of the lung, right root of the lung, and there is an impression above the hilum on the right lung, which is called arch of azygos vein. Right root of the lung opore, right root of the lung opore, erom kore ekta, just like arch of aorta on the left side, you will find an impression on the mediastinal surface of the right lung. Then I have drawn the subsequent venous tributaries, that is T4 to T11 on the right side, and on the left side the axis is broken from T4 to T8 joints to form the superior hemiazygos vein. This is called superior hemiazygos vein that connects with the azygos vein at the level of T7 vertebra. This is always asked. This is always asked in the examination. At which level the superior hemiazygos vein or the accessory hemiazygos vein connects with the azygos vein. This is the T7 level. At which level T4 to T8 veins, tributaries that connects the superior hemiazygos vein connects to the azygos vein at the level of T7 vertebra. Similarly, 9, 10 and 11 posterior intercostal vein joins with the, becomes the inferior hemiazygos vein and joins with the azygos vein at the level of T8. It joins with the azygos vein at the level of T8. Now you see there are T12. This is the T12 vein, and along with there is another vein that is called the ascending lumbar. This one is the ascending lumbar vein. This is the T12 or the subcostal vein. All right. Similarly, this one is the subcostal vein. This is the ascending lumbar vein. Usually, azygos vein starts with a common trunk. Azygos vein starts on the right side, starts as a common trunk, joining the ascending lumbar and the subcostal vein. There is the T12 vein. All right. And on the left side, it may arise either from the same common trunk or even from the left renal vein. Even from the left renal vein. All right. You see the position of the azygos vein communicating the IVC. This one is the inferior vena cava, which is within the median arcuate ligament. This is the median arcuate ligament. Where is this is the IVC, abdominal aorta, and in between there is the cisterna chyli. This space is in between the two crush of the diaphragm. This is right and left crush of diaphragm. I have drawn it earlier. How the diaphragm is? Diaphragm has, it is double-handled umbrella. Diaphragm is a double-handed umbrella. From the posterior part, there are two crush attached to the vertebra. L1, L2, L3 on right side and L1 and L2 on the left side. So from this handle, all the fibers comes out. The fibers of the ribs, fibers from the xiphisterna. All these fibers comes out just like this, the umbrella. This comes as umbrella. And in the lower part, with the posterior abdominal wall, have the two handles. It has the two handles. And the muscle fibers coming from the T7 to T12 vertebra. So when you open the umbrella, what happens? All these muscle fibers or the ribs of the umbrella causes the expansion of this umbrella, isn't it? কি হয় আমরা যখন, what happens if I open the umbrella? All the fibers come together to form a dome, and inside there are the ribs. Ribs mean supporting to the roof of the umbrella, and we can hold it with usually in the single-handled form. But in case of diaphragm, there are two-handled form. attached to the posterior abdominal wall. All right. The right one is lengthy, that is the L1, L2 and L3. The left one is short, that is the L1 and L2. And the muscle fibers that is connecting this right crus and the left crus is called the median arcuate ligament. The muscle fibers that are connecting these two crus of diaphragm is called the median arcuate ligament. All right. Now the azygous vein passes through the enters to the thorax, coming from the inferior vena cava, either piercing the right crus or by the side of the right crus. All right. This is the and sometimes below the right margin of the right crus, right to the abdominal aorta and cisterna chyli. Abdominal aorta, cisterna chyli, this side, right side, we will find the inferior vena cava and the ascending limb of the azygous vein. All right. ছাতা কিরকম হয়? ছাতা, how an umbrella is. If you open the umbrella, all the fibers will make a dome, isn't it? And this dome-like roof of an umbrella is connected by the ribs. All right. In case of diaphragm also, there are two handles connected to the posterior abdominal wall. That is on the right side L1, L2, L3, on the left side L1 and L2. All right. And all the fibers comes like this from T7 to T12 ribs. From T7 to T12 ribs. All the fibers convert to form a dome. That is the diaphragm. So on the median arcuate ligament, on the right side of the abdominal aorta, cisterna chyli, there is IVC, inferior vena cava. And this ascending venous system pierces either the right crus or the right margin of the right crus and enters the thorax. All right. And you see the pattern of receiving tributaries are like this. T1 directly goes to the right brachiocephalic vein. T2 and T3 jointly attaches to the, drains into the azygous vein. T4 to T11 drains into the azygous vein. T12 and the ascending lumbar forms the common trunk that may drain into the inferior vena cava or can start the azygous vein. Azygous vein may develop from left renal vein also. You will learn this thing. ঠিক আছে? On the right side, on the left side, what you are seeing, that T4 to T8 tributaries are joining to form the superior hemiazygous or the accessory hemiazygous vein, attaching, draining to the azygous vein at the level of T7 vertebra. All right. And there are T9, T10, T11 and T12 with ascending lumbar vertebra vein that is forming the inferior hemiazygous vein, which is draining into the azygous vein at the level of T8 vertebra. That is draining. So the azygous vein is in the posterior mediastinum. It is posterior mediastinum that the azygous vein is running. It is lying even behind the sympathetic chain and the thoracic splenic nerve. এই যে azygous vein-টা, this vein moving up at which level? Number one, it is in the posterior mediastinum. All right, even below the level of the thoracic duct as well as the sympathetic chain. ঠিক আছে, ও কোন ডেপথে আছে? What is the depth? Not superficial. It is behind the root of the lung. Behind the root of the lung. Then even behind the, at the level of the vertebra, behind the thoracic splanchnic nerve. What do you mean by thoracic splanchnic nerve? What do you mean by thoracic sympathetic chain and thoracic splanchnic nerve? These are the vertebra. All right. On either surface, there is rosary-like eolois. Rosary-like the ganglion of the sympathetic chain on either side of the thoracic vertebra. All right. The T5 to T9, fibers from the T5 to T9 thoracic ganglia gives rise to greater splanchnic nerve. 10-11 gives rise to lesser splanchnic nerve. And the 12th ganglia, sympathetic ganglia, gives rise to least splanchnic nerve. So, the azygous vein is even lateral to this thoracic splanchnic nerve and the sympathetic chain. The position, that is the location of the azygous vein, must be understood clearly. It is running behind the, after communicating with the heart at the level of, that is, it has the intrapericardial and extrapericardial part at the junction. The arch of azygous bone vein is joining with the heart. All right. Then it is going to the posterior mediastinum. Root of lung on the right side is in front of this arch of azygos. All right. And it is even lateral and posterior to the sympathetic chain and the thoracic splanchnic nerve. ঠিক আছে? What are the structures you expect? Right to it, left to it, and in front of it. Behind there is T5 to T12 thoracic vertebra with the anterior longitudinal ligament. This is the posterior aspect. And on the right side, what you can see on the right side? What you can see on the right side, and what you can see on the left side. On the left side there is descending thoracic aorta, that is the bifurcation of trachea, there is the esophagus behind the trachea, and there is the thoracic duct in between the tracheoesophageal groove. All right. And on the left side you see that the union of the right and left brachiocephalic vein forming the superior vena cava entering into the right atrium. And there are other tributaries, that is the mediastinal, pericardial, bronchial veins also unites with the azygous vein. All right. Azygous vein is venous system. The importance of azygous venous system is such that whenever it is a communication between the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. It is an important communication between the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Right. And the posterior intercostal veins are also drained by the azygous venous system. Posterior intercostal veins are drained by the azygous venous system. তাই না? ঠিক আছে? The lumbocostal trunk, that is the ascending lumbar and the subcostal component of the azygous system can drain the lower limbs. লোয়ার লিম্বকে ড্রেন করতে পারবে। অলরাইট, অ্যান্ড what is another important thing is that the azygous vein can originate from the renal vein also. Is the left renal vein that gives rise to azygous venous system. ঠিক আছে, পড়ো তোমরা। The arch of azygous vein comes from the cephalic part of the posterior cardinal vein, and the rest part comes from the right azygous venous line. All right.